We'll
Right.
resume recording. I just thought, because I had some Reiki clients over the weekend and I was thinking about this, so it just seemed appropriate. If it fits, fine. If not, fine. Your job is not to judge. I suppose that's a good rule for everybody. Your job is not to figure out if someone deserves something. Your job is to lift the fallen, to restore the broken, and to heal the hurting. So it just seems like a good purpose if it fits, you know, if somebody's hurting and you want to help in some way. There's Rai Rai. Oh, he wants to be on the mat with mommy, this human mommy.
I muted it so you wouldn't hear me.
Oh, that's okay. So, so we'll practice today because I think it's rather prevalent, although if it's not for you, then okay. But I think a lot of people judge themselves harshly, more harshly than they do other people. So if you want to use this as a session to pull back from any harsh judgments or criticisms of yourself, it's easy to do because if we're raised a certain way or in a school where we're judged harshly, you know, sometimes we internalize that. And this is an opportunity to kind of let that go. So that's the idea anyway. Any body parts that need special attention?
My hips.
Okay. Certain part of the hips, like the outside or the glutes, or any special?
Right at the joint.
Oh, okay. All right.
Please.
Of course. We will go to Elsie.
Oh, sorry, I didn't unmute myself. I said the same thing as Sheila. I was going to say the same thing.
Oh, okay. More hips.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Oh, that's so pretty. I can see closer now. Oh, because I haven't switched over to the speaker, but your garden looks really pretty. So green after all this rain and your grass. Very nice. Yes. All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'd love to see you here with me and ready to yoga. Yoga without judgment. Actually, maybe to yoga with self-acceptance. Maybe that's a better way of putting it, because sometimes the negative, you know, isn't recognized by our subconscious mind. I was going to roll and then I got on a phone call and I never rolled. But that's okay. We'll be working it out anyway. All right. Just let going of your day. Any burdens. There's a visualization that I love, and I was at a friend's space yesterday and she has a treasure chest and it reminded me of this, so we'll use it today. Just imagine that you've come into your room wherever you're practicing your yoga, and that at the entrance to your room, your sacred space, is a treasure chest. And you can create your treasure chest any way you want. If you prefer a crystal, beautiful, with rainbows type of crystal treasure chest, or wooden like the sailors used to use. Also in the armed forces, I used to have a treasure chest, or a chest, a wooden one that was owned by someone in the army, because they still had his name and address on the inside. Or anything you wish. But what you do is you open that chest, and any concerns, any burdens or worries, or even pain in your body, you can use your imagination and just take that pain and place it inside the chest. Any worries, any burdens, place them, objectify it. Like if it's a person that's causing you discomfort in some way, see their face and put their face or their head in that treasure chest. Just any image that would remind you. So what you do is you place all those things in your treasure chest, and you close the lid, and you leave it there the duration of our session. Then when you leave, it'll still be there. You can open the lid and take it back, or you can just leave it there. So it's your choice. But just take a moment and see if anything, as you come into quiet, if anything surfaces that you need to place for now. You can always take it back if you want to, if you need to. Place all those things in your chest, your treasure chest. We have our theme around self-acceptance and letting go of judgment of self and others. So the word judgment could be placed in the chest. And then we can focus more on self-acceptance. And we've worked on that before, so it's just something we come back to periodically. And now focus your attention on your breath. And expand your awareness into the physical, into your joints and muscles, and your nervous system. How are your nerves doing? Are they jangled? Are you stressed about anything? And now just bring your hands into Anjali Mudra. Just relax your arms down. And we'll create an intention. If you want to create your own, that's fine. I would just say, I commit to accepting myself and whatever flaws that I perceive to have. I accept all of it. I am worthy of love and I accept myself as I am. I think anybody who's on the earth is a work in progress. We don't use that as an excuse. We use it as a reminder. We're still worthy of love, even though we might have a flaw or idiosyncrasy or something we're looking to transmute. So I am committed to accepting myself at deeper levels. And we'll breathe and reach up. And breathe out as we lower arms down. Just continue at your own pace. If you want to repeat the intention with your breath, you can lift and say, I commit to deeper levels of self-acceptance. I commit to deeper levels of self-acceptance. And one more round. Nice full deep breath. And then just relax your hands. Now, one way to assist ourselves, or perhaps to change our perception of ourselves, is to work a little more with the vagus nerve. So if you recall from a while back, when we studied the vagus nerve, it's the longest cranial nerve. So it starts at the base of the brain, right in the back of the neck, and it comes down both sides of the neck, down both sides of the chest, down into the stomach area, the solar plexus, and it ends in the intestinal area. But it's like like tree branches, so it's called the wandering nerve. So it's not just straight lines. It's like a tree with roots or branches. So the vagus nerve is what helps us produce oxytocin, which is the love hormone. So deep breathing enhances that production of oxytocin. Playing or listening to music. You can use the postures, and we'll go over that today, that will assist. So since it works with, it travels through both sides of the neck, we'll be working with the neck first. So just lift tall in your spine. And just, if you can, picture that vagus nerve coming down from the occiput down both sides of the neck. And just come to that area for now. We'll travel on down after we work this area. So starting with that deep breath, lift tall, let your shoulders drop. Exhale, just turn your head to one side and stretch on the exhale. Breathe to center. Breathe out to the other side, and we'll repeat this 2 more times. Breathe to center. Exhale to the side. And you're welcome to use your Ujjayi breath if you wish. Last stretch to the last side. Breathe, bringing chin to the front. Breathe out and lower your chin down, and let your head just relax. Let your shoulders relax. Just kind of hang out here for a couple of breaths. And we'll start to loosen up in the neck just with a gentle pendulum. So breathe as you lift your chin over to the side. Breathe out. Inhale to center. And then start, if it feels okay in there, just start to let yourself swing. Let it go. Some people carry quite a bit of tension in the neck. It's a vulnerable area. And the next time you swing down to center, just pause. Again, relax your shoulders. So you're still lifting in the spine, just letting your head relax forward. Now hold on to your knees and lift as you inhale. Lift your chin. And lengthen in your neck, your cervical spine. Lengthen as you take your head back. Until you can relax your head to the back, if that's possible for you. And slowly bring your head forward. Lower your chin down. Breathe as you lift once again. Elongate the cervical spine. Take your head back. Now the body is all connected. You're aware of that. But sometimes you can have tightness in your neck that radiates into your hips. Now press down in your hips and legs and draw your head forward. And just a couple more stretches side to side to loosen in your neck. Computer work can cause us to tighten up there. All right. So another movement for the vagus nerve and the sides of the neck is to breathe and lift your shoulders up towards your ears. Give a little squeeze and let it down. And again, breathe it up. Contract. And lower down. And last time, breathe and lift your shoulders. See if you can hold your breath as you hold the contraction. Press your shoulders into your neck. Now you can also take your neck side to side a little bit, your head side to side, and press into your shoulders. And then relax your shoulders down. Now there's one place where it's easier to touch the vagus nerve. And if you take your hands and cross them, it doesn't really matter which one is on top, but cross them and then bring them down from your collarbone to your chest. And just give a little massage there. Okay, so let's start with our shoulders here and just circle around to loosen up in the upper back, the trapezius area and the scalene muscles. And reverse. So lots of poses impact the vagus nerve, and a twist is one of them. So let's let our legs out and shake out our knees. Give them a little rub. We had them folded for a few minutes there. Okay, so just starting with a simple twist. Bend your knees, just bring your feet onto the floor. Wrap your right arm around your knees. You can bring them in wherever it's comfortable. Reach up through your spine. So we have a couple of images of the tree. Our spine is like a tree as it is rooted in the earth and then comes up all the way up to our brain. And then our vagus nerve also is like a tree, but it's growing from the brain down. So our energy flows in both directions. So hold on to your knees and breathe your arm and lift up to your ear. Open the body to the side and lower your arm down. And just picture, first of all, picture your spine lifting and creating space in between the vertebra, in between the discs. Look over your shoulder. Now breathing, the deep breathing activates the vagus nerve. It's the nerve of bonding and love. It's very strong when babies are born. Now press down in your sitting bones and lift your arm up next to your ear once again, still facing the side. Reach up, inhale again, and unwind to the front. Wrap your arm around the knees and scoop the right arm up. Breathe. And open to the side. And lower your arm down. Picture the spine. Look over your shoulder. So this is stimulating the vagus nerve along the neck, down into the chest, all the way down into the intestinal area. And press the sitting bones down into the mat. Hold on to your legs. Breathe your deep breath as you lift your arm again next to your ear. Tall in your spine. Unwind and lower down. So holding on to your knees, just lean back and reach your arms forward and allow your abdominal muscles to engage. Draw the navel in, draw your waist in. Breathe. Relax in your neck. Try to keep a straight spine and then lift your toes off the floor. Just bring both arms over to one side. Take the legs over opposite. Give you a little extra stretch. And other side. And back to center. Bring the knees in closer to your chest. Breathe. And as you breathe out, lift your feet so that your low legs are parallel to the floor. I'll turn sideways to help with demonstrating. And then lift the legs all the way up. This is optional. If you want to stay in the half boat, you can do that. Lift. And then let your feet down. Open the knees out to the side. And just a few butterflies here. Loosening up with a straight spine. But be mindful of your breath here. Expanding. On the inhale, Contract on the exhale, draw the knees down. And a little bend forward. And then assist your knees, bringing them back to center. Reach your arms forward. Take in a breath. And lean back on the exhale. And once again, lift your feet. Lengthen in your neck, your throat, and lift your feet up. If you're using this. Now take your legs over to one side and your arms to the other side. And repeat on the other side. Try to keep your legs up and knees straight if you can. And then back to center and lower your feet down. Separate your feet and just come in between your knees. Stretch your low back here. And lower your head. Then just lean back and we'll kind of work with a wave. So start with your hips and roll through your spine. And then come forward, round it out. Leaning back. Start at the base of your spine. Roll the hips forward, the navel, the ribs, the chest, and the head coming forward and roll forward. And then just lift up. Okay. Let's work with our hips a little bit more. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Bring the ankles and toes together and just rock to loosen up in the ankles and the toes. Okay. Come up onto the balls of your feet, fingertips on the floor. Just take your left leg out to the side, but keep the toes forward. So they're parallel to the long edge of your mat. Notice how it feels in the hip joint. Is it painful? Does it feel tight? I have wide set hip bones. So when I do this, I can feel where my iliac crest is pressing into my leg bone. So we want to go easy with this. We're just stretching a little bit to the side. Keep pressing down in your foot gently. Lengthen up in your crown. And then just lean over towards that leg. Try to keep your chest forward if you can. You'll feel a little stretch in the side, but also notice how it feels over that hip joint. All right, now come back to center, taking a nice relaxing breath. Now lift the toes up and press the heel down so that the knee is facing up, the toes are facing up. Bring both arms inside the bent knee, and again, lean towards that leg, working towards keeping the shoulders facing front. It may or may not work too well. Just keep your balance, lengthen out. And come back up. Now I got to move so I'm on the mat here. Take your right leg, which is your bent knee, and pivot. Come onto the ball of the back foot and just come into your sun pose. If you need to move your right foot forward further, that's fine. Just grab your ankle and pull forward on the ball of the back foot and just undulate in and out of the stretch so that your psoas muscles get some lengthening here. And then relax your hips down towards the mat. So strengthen or straighten the back leg, press through the heel. All right, now let the back knee down, bend the knee, lift up, and hold on to your right knee and see if you can reach back for that ankle. If you need to, you can place your right hand in front of your right knee, but just give yourself a thigh stretch. This is going to loosen up the muscles also around your hip. Try to keep the hips pointing forward and kind of pump the leg in and out. This reminds me of the water pump out in the country. So breathe your breath, your long breath. Exhale and draw the heel in towards the hip. Try to relax the thigh, the quadricep muscles. And then let the knee down. Bring your hands so that they're on each side of your foot. Now, take the front leg and stretch it forward. You may not go all the way down. Some of us do, some of us don't, and we're still kind of in warm up. But let the back hip press forward and then stretch out. You can come onto your heel on the front leg. And then bring it back in. Bring your right hand inside and pivot once again, bringing the heel down on your left leg. Now this is a little different stretch. Before we were stretching over the leg. This time we're holding the knee upwards and stretching a little forward. Press the hips back and just come down in front. All right. So now we're going to do all of that on the other side, the other leg. So start with the right leg out to the side, toes pointing forward. You're on the ball of the left foot. And then lift up. And just come over to the side, over that leg. Feel the hip bone, feel the joint. Breathe. Love yourself, accept wherever you're at. This side may stretch further or less than the first side, and that's okay. And then we'll lift back up. Now we'll turn the toes up, press the heel down. And again, lift up in your spine. Exhale over to the side. If there's any pain, just pull back from it. You don't have to do your ultimate stretch today. If it feels a little tight, just direct the muscles to relax. And then come forward once again. Okay. Now we'll pivot and come into our sun pose. Lengthening the front of the leg, the psoas muscles. So breathe and release on the exhale, okay? Try to keep the back leg straight. Now let the back knee down. Bend the back leg. Lift up in the front. You can rest your forearm on that knee or thigh and just reach back for your ankle or your foot. If this is a challenge with your knee, just put something under it or roll your mat under it to protect it from any harsh surface. If this side feels a little tighter, take more time. Breathe and draw the heel in. Let it out a little bit. Breathe and draw it in. Breathe. All right, let the knee down and back. Stretch the leg out. Now take your front leg and slide your heel out. This side may be easier or harder, but just come up in center. If you flex the front foot, you'll get more stretch on the calf and the back of the knee, but just take your time and breathe. And relax down on the exhale. And then just draw that leg back in. Turn the toes under on the back foot. Come back into sun pose. And then pivot. Bring the heel down one more time for this final stretch for the hips. This is where we take in a breath and lower down in the front of your body. Press the hips back, lengthen in your spine. All right, now just bring both feet in. Slide your hands forward. Come into your downward facing dog. All right. Now step your left foot in. Come into sun pose for a moment. And press both feet into the mat. Lift up, come into your warrior one legs. Feel the strength you have now that you're stretched out in your hips. Breathe, reach up, pivot into warrior two. All right, breathe and reach out over your front leg. And then scoop it up and come back into reverse warrior. Come into a little side stretch here. Keep the knee forward. And come back to warrior two. Bring the back foot in a little bit if you need to, and lift the palms. Come back into warrior one. And come back down into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Press firmly in both feet. Lift up into your warrior one. Arms overhead. Reach. Press through the back heel. Relax in the hips. Let them soften. Lift at your fingertips as your inhale. Pivot into warrior two. And breathe as you reach out over the front leg. Scoop it up and breathe out as you go back into reverse warrior. Feel that back hip. This is that initial stretch we did. Feel the hip bones and your leg bone, your femur. And breathe back into warrior two. Pivot back into warrior one. And reach for the floor. Step it back into a plank. Let your hips down onto the mat, the tops of your feet come into cobra. Lengthen out. Bring the pubic triangle onto the floor. Press it down. And press back into child's pose. Slowly lift up. Pass through sitting and prepare for your shavasana. Loving yourself, accepting everything about you, your own beauty, what you consider flaws or shortcomings. Just know that awareness is 90% of success. Let it all go now. Love yourself. Love your body. Love where you're at on your journey. Love your connection to spirit. Recognize that any judgment that we hold for ourselves or others is a barrier to our connection to spirit. Let it go. Now start to become aware once again of your loving nature, love for yourself, love for others, love for our Creator, love for your body, your temple, holding your own spirit in focus. Start to bring some little moves into your fingers. Maybe circle around in your wrist. We didn't do any of that. And slide your feet together. Lift your knees, press your low back into the mat, and lift your knees up to your chest. Give yourself a hug. That's also stimulating for the vagus nerve. Then come over onto one side. Press up into sitting. Bring your hands into your favorite mudra. Let the love flow through you. The sense of well-being, the bliss. And sealing all of that in with your practice through your mudra. And then bring palms to prayer hands, Anjali Mudra. May your heart burst open with so much love for yourself that it spills over into others, into the world, and into spirit. Namaste, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, you're welcome.
very good. Wonderful.